He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
Who does he think he is, Sean Gregorian? Who does that guy think he is?
Well,
Who does Sean think he is?
maybe let me.
Oh, man. It's best to say he was muted. We have Lena Star Moon, who might know what the deal is. She said, that's a deep thought, Sean. It's so deep, we can't even measure it. How deep it is. Oh, Maddie Lynn, who says, baby Sean. Yes, Sean is a baby. He needs to be pampered. And how's that diaper rash?
Tonight, late night update. We get into the fiasco of all the battles, the wars of everything Epstein as the files drop, heads begin to roll, relationships begin to break, and the country begins to crack. Will it continue? Who's on the chopping block? And what to expect next, right here. Epstein wars begin. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Deal Media's late night update. Epstein wars begin. I'm your late night host here, who is exceptionally, well, pretty good for being late. Well, it's in the title, on time here tonight. Tonight's episode is Epstein wars begin. Yes, they do, as I'm live right here from Studio B, as we are waiting to return to the great grand world at war any day now. But in the meanwhile, news does not stop, as headlines, no matter early, late, or even midday, they seem to be continuing by the hour, on the hour, as the Epstein files have now, the 3 million have been officially released. You might have seen last night, a very extremely late, due to some ungodly kind of tech snafus I don't even want to mention, but what an eye-opener that was. We're going to delve even further and expand even further into that here tonight as Epstein's wars begin, and the blame game is now, well, it's now ensuing, and it's really, really taking major impact everywhere from DC to even internationally, overseas, across the pond. We have people resigning in droves. We have foreign heads of states doing raids in offices. It's just unbelievable here tonight. So that is what we're going to be tending to. And joining us shortly around the corner here is our very own Real Deal Media political analyst himself, Jim Fetzer, who's really been keeping his eye on the prize on all of these files. And oddly enough, a lot of these regarding the American president has a lot of reminiscence to the Wayne Madsen report that was dropped just a decade ago. I can now say that. That is something to be seen. But we are going to get started here, as now we are broadcasting live. Yes, we are broadcasting live everywhere on Rumble, the graveyard over there on Rumble, DeanRyan TV on YouTube. Yes, and the free Facebook, the Trump page. Hello to everybody. Okay, we do have some headlines from around the world in your neck of the woods that are really taking way here in this late night, making some major headway, that is. Well, this now brings us to some very dastardly weather. I don't know if you've noticed. I certainly have. The mosquitoes have. They found me once again, sad to say. I'm nothing but a feeding frenzy smorgasbord to that species that I absolutely hate. They look like mini Bill Gates, just to add. But let me tell you about some of these things going on around the world. This is truly something here. In Florida right now, a major freeze has now been underway. Yes, a huge cold snap like never seen before. So cold. And by the way, they said that Bill Gates had something to do with this, oddly enough. Some of his weather making facilities in manufacturing. The man is a doctor. He is a computer science. He is a eugenicist, murderer, killer, and a man who's walking around with socially transmitted disease. But in this case, now we have a cold snap that now has left Florida. Streets littered with frozen iguanas. It's so cold. They're saying reptiles are now dropping everywhere around the state as the Celsius has now reached -4 over there in Orlando just to start, lowest record in February in more than a century. That's how bad it's getting in Florida. In California is no better. It's now reaching the 80s. Just when you thought we were just enjoying a little walk in a winter wonderland, well, it's not seeming to be the case here tonight. So that's one just to start. Now, also something else that's making headway in California that you might have heard, measles are now back, and Disneyland is saying, yes, we have the measles. That was one of the first to report to you years ago about the measles back in 2015 that started in Disneyland. Now, this is the beginning, I believe, of a bigger psyop. The measles from 2015, 2014, that era was the precursor to starting all of the miracle jabs that were mandated in the California schools. So then followed the rest of the country. And here we are again about 10 years later. What they didn't tell you 10 years ago is that the measles came from Chinese students who just happened to be gallivanting throughout the Disneyland resort. Well, here we are again, and I'm willing to bet it's the same Chinese students. Yes, the CCP won't let us be, even as we're getting crushed by Israel. They have no mercy. That's a little update for you on that front. Now, here's the big front I want to share with you here. You might have seen this on the main page over there on the Drudge and just virtually everywhere that covers news, that the offices of X, Elon Musk, X offices over there in France have been raided. And I'll tell you what the real story is, but let's pretend that we're just a bunch of fish out of water and we don't know any better, because this is now what the AP is now reporting. And I'll set it straight in heads will roll. Well, in this case now, the AP is now reporting that the X offices have been now raided by French authorities as prosecutors now investigate child abuse images and deep fakes. Remember those terms. It will come into play here. Well, now French prosecutors have now raided the offices of social media platform X just earlier today as part of a preliminary investigation into allegations that include spreading child sexual abuse images in deep fakes. They have also summoned billionaire owner Musk in for questioning. Yes, they told him to bend over and take the paddle and ask for another, as now Musk artificial intelligence company XAI, which I was unaware of and not familiar with the matter. Well, they're now facing intensifying scrutiny from Britain's data privacy regulator, which opened a formal investigations into how they handled personal data they developed. Okay, so let's put all that aside now. Here's the crux of it. Now, the French investigation was opened in January last year by the January of last year by the prosecutors' cybercrime unit, Paris's prosecutors. It's looking into allegedly complicity in possessing and spreading pornographic images of minors. Now, that's the cover. That's the cover of what they're putting out there. Here is the real deal. And as we're going to tell you straight as it is here, we received word from our very own EU insider earlier today before the rest of the country picked up the story. What the office was raided for by the French authorities, and I kid you not, This is ridiculous, and it's just incriminating how they're trying to cover it and masquerade it as child pornography, which they're probably planting. When the French authorities raided the office of the ex and everything Elon Musk there, was because Elon Musk and his company, parent company over there, they have in possession of damning evidence of Emmanuel Macron's true wife, images that prove that he's married to a man. And that's why they got raided. And the cover is it's child and, scrutiny of deep fakes. No, it's evidence proving that Mrs. Macron is really Mr. Macron. And if you go further into it, if you're unfamiliar with the story, Emmanuel Macron had a very influential theater teacher during high school, so much so that the theater teacher took a liking to young Emmanuel and began living a life as a transvestite, which he later then found and groomed Emmanuel to be president and the husband, which he is today. So that's the real deal story behind that total facade, isn't it? We see it. Here's something else that's of interest. We have now a lot of things happening, and we're going to get into everything with the not the Elon Musk files, but the Epstein files. But you might have heard this. Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we'll bring Jim in on this shortly, is now taking a flamethrower to Trump and weak Republicans for the attacks on everyone who has been constitutional. We'll talk about that. But here's the big one I would love to talk about and tell you before we get into the Epstein. This is really a real conundrum, and it's making and grazing the headlines across the country as it's now developing a story as Savannah Guthrie, the Today host over there on NBC, Channel 4 for some. Well, her mother has now been missing. It's now official that the mother has been kidnapped. Now, as of just an hour or two ago, several hours ago, TMZ has now been reporting that they have received a ransom note regarding Savannah Guthrie's mother, who is residing over there in Arizona, is now missing. They've now received a ransom note demanding big money in Bitcoin. This is just like a film, isn't it? Pay attention for the changes and the psyops, if any. Well, the Pima County Sheriff's Department posted just earlier today that they are aware of, quote, reports circulating about possible ransom notes regarding the investigation of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah. Well, the tweet says, they put a tweet out that the department is now taking all tips and leads very seriously, and anything that comes in goes directly to our detectives who are coordinating with the very efficient FBI. Yes, the wandering FBI. Well, now another scary twist of fate as the disappearance of the Today host mother of Savannah Guthrie is now a kidnapped mother. Yes, that's true. TMZ has now received the alleged ransom note demanding a payment for the release of Nancy Guthrie. And we're talking a lot of buku dollars in Bitcoin. Now, the note, which was sent to TMZ earlier today, demands a specific substantial amount of Bitcoin. The amount is in the millions and more than $1 million, just to set the record straight. The note also demands the cryptocurrency be sent to a specific Bitcoin address. Highly unusual. TMZ has now verified the Bitcoin address is real. There's a deadline connected to the alleged ransom, and an element of or else was connected in concluding with the ransom note. Wow, this is something that we have not seen in quite some time. How real is it? That's a great question. But to talk about this in a bit more of everything, Epstein is our very own one and only a true detective in the political forum, Jim Fetzer. Jim, this is a crazy plot that we're now learning about Savannah's mother. I mean, what is the validity of the narrative that's being pushed out there? And because some said that Savannah was maybe beginning to talk about things happening in NBC and maybe even Epstein related.
Well, Dean, it's very strange. The mother's 84 years old. seems really, really peculiar, but I have no reason to contest it. If, she didn't just wander off on her own, and apparently she was in possession of her faculties, this appears to be the explanation. Strange.
No, Jim, it is strange. The timing of it is very suspect for me because we have a lot of people who are talking. We reported in about other reports that people like even Jay-Z have fled the United States. We have Mel Gates, who's coming out of the woodworks, who's talking about her now divorced husband, who's now missing from the scene. Jim, I predicted last night we're going to be seeing a lot of these bizarre incidences just now starting to occur over the course of this week and onward. Do you see it? Because this is some damning stuff we're learning about.
Well, I've heard that George Clooney has moved to France to evade the long arm of the law over the pedophile allegations, where we had from the survivors before that Barack Obama, George Clooney, and Tom Hanks were among the very worst in exploiting the opportunities to sexually abuse these young girls. So, and you're absolutely right about the 3 million. There's so much in there, including apparently Donald Trump's name appears overwhelmingly more frequently than that of anyone else. Over 5,000 times in these Epstein files. So, when they go out to redact the name of Donald Trump, they got a hell of a problem. If I said Bill Clinton, I mean, of course, he's in there too, but nothing on the order of Donald Trump. So a friend is keeping count, and it turns out the number of times now that Trump's name is mentioned is dropping because they're trying to redact the files they got out there, but it's too late. It's too little. It's too late. The toothpaste is out of the tube, Dean. This has been catastrophic for Trump personally and the whole pedophile operation.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about this now, because there's a lot of implications and a lot of consequences from this all. We have this. First of all, we have the stock market and the cryptocurrency world taking a massive dip. And Jim, I'm even getting winds from Europe that Bitcoin's not even going to be a thing in the long run here. This is the beginning of the Armageddon of cryptocurrency, which a lot of people said could have been just a psyop to, traffic people and or catch traffickers. So let's talk about what this has done now with the markets, but also, Jim, I see this as the strong arm move by the Mossad to get Trump to get the United States into another Israeli war, this time with Iran. What do you see from your standpoint?
Well, what's offsetting, and it all appeared, I mean, a Russian spy satellite was taken out. Iranian surveillance of shipping was taken out. There's all kinds of jamming taking place. China has stepped up and declared that if Iran is attacked, that they are going to demolish Israel. And I think that should put an end to it. So then we get these rumors. I've had at least 2 reports that Xi Jinping has been hit with a stroke, which would be from directed energy weapon as a form of punishment. And that's where Mossad could have played a role, Dean, if this is accurate. We got reports of troop movements in China. Xi has been a very good, very strong, far-sighted leader of China. I think he's been just as important to China as Putin has to Russia. They've both been among the best leaders of any nation on earth.
Well, I think you just said it, Jim, and a lot of people don't know behind the scenes. It may appear that we're trying to be friendly with Russia, China behind the scenes, certainly. But you just said it right there. Xi Jinping got stuck with a potential sonic weapon, the same potentially that was used in Venezuela. Well, we're also finding out that Trump signed off on a plethora of CIA drones, assassination drones that were aiming to assassinate the president of Russia, not Putin. I want to say Mendez, not Menendez. I can't remember the name exactly at the moment, but there's a lot of behind the scenes assassination attempts on the two superpowers on the Far East. But Jim, this is what worries me, because now, and I made the case last night, where Trump is now sitting, everything's out that we know of. There could be far more worse, like HD videos that could come out with him in it. They could be deep fakes, but nonetheless, the perception is reality, images, everything. But listen to this. Here's a clip that really puts it all in perspective here. Because I believe that if Trump does not go to Iran and wants to finally cut ties and not spill any more blood and treasure, well, I think the next step is a real assassination attempt, in my view.
إن حصل اتفاق دونالد ترامب سوف يقتل. نتنياهو سوف يقتله، لأن هذه المرة لن يسمح له أن يتغاضى عن أمن إسرائيل.
لهذا الدرجة؟
طبعا، لأن إن تم الاتفاق هذا يعني أن الشروط الإيرانية على الطاولة، والشروط الإيرانية من سبع مستحيل نتنياهو يقبل فيها. فكيف يسمح لترامب؟ هذا إذا أصلا وصل للتوقيع، لأني أنا أتوقع مستشارين ترامب الموجودين معه على الطاولة واحد منهم من
Israel wants war.
أنا أكيد.
Wow, Jim, that was incredible. My Farsies is better than I imagined, as you heard there. Let's talk about that implication, and then we'll get into the other aspects of it. But yeah, Jim, I don't see him wanting to go into Iran. It's not a win-win war for us, but this sets the stakes very high now, where I see them trying to take him out, in addition to starting a civil war right here using ICE at the command of Israel.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something to that. The difficulties for the American Navy, for example, are immense. They only have, they got like 100 Tomahawks apiece. I'm talking about these guided missile destroyers and frigates. But that means they only have a very limited number of missiles they can use to defend against drones. So that if Iran sends, say, 300 drones against these ships, and they got to use 2 missiles per drone, they're out of defensive drones almost immediately, and they have to withdraw, run the risk of being sunk. I mean, the logistics of having this operation thousands of miles away from the United States is a great advantage for Iran. And believe me, they're prepared. They have declared without any hesitation they're ready for whatever comes, and that includes even nukes, where there are plenty of talk about Israel now having tested one of their nukes and wanting to use them against Iran.
Yes, I believe they're going to go their own way. They were testing them as of 2 weekends ago. We're at a point now. We have ICE, which has now been said to be at the direction of Israel. The tactics being used by the ICE is really the tactics of the IDF. And it's showing division at a time when many Americans were having a common adversary for the first time, probably since World War II. With that said, Jim, we have now J.D. Vance, who's now raging. I don't know if you're aware of this, but he's now raging and calling the courts for a testimony of the incestuous elites, his words, as he's saying that the president knows a lot of these people in the files. And he's calling for testimony, and Dems are warning now they're going to haul in the president for testimony. So I'm sorry, the Democrats are calling for testimony of Trump. So to switch lanes a tad into the political world, Jim, just how dire is this now politically for Donald Trump and the Republicans as we know it? Because this has been served on a silver platter in addition to the riots happening, the ICE protest.
Well,
what are we looking at?
McLaughlin just did a survey, and he was astonished that Trump is standing fast. He's got 50% support, but ICE has fallen significantly in the eyes of the public. And I think it's very threatening, the ICE thing. And you got this Governor Walz and this Mayor Fry in Minneapolis. You got all the Somali scandals. It's a very big deal. I lived in Minnesota for 19 years in Duluth. I had no idea there was this degree of corruption in that state, for which I developed a lot of affection. But I'm appalled at what I see there today. And I'm very glad to be in Wisconsin as opposed to the land of 10,000 lakes.
Well, he lost MTG, who's now calling him out. She's out of Congress. And that was a unwavering supporter. I think the base is gone. So kind of two more questions, Jim, before you go the way of the Wisconsin. Are people going to really even ask for evidence or care about what Tulsi Gabbard's now doing behind the scenes in the wake of all this with the election 2020 fraud? Is that still a substantive kind of investigation that people are willing to care about at this point?
Well, Trump has announced that he's got a huge report about the theft of the 2020 election forthcoming. We don't know yet. At least I haven't seen it yet. I didn't quite understand why he had Tulsi down there in the first place. She's receiving criticism for it, but I think she's absolutely solid, just as RFK Jr. is solid. Trump is trying to do a lot of things to pacify the base. So he's doing a lot of good things, I think, probably for the wrong reason, but we want to appreciate the good things he's doing. And if he's hesitating, bombing Iran, I agree. He's running the risk of assassination by Mossad. If Bibi gives a word, he's gone. I haven't any doubt. The problem being, I don't see Vance as being a reliable leader in a crisis situation whatsoever. I've zero confidence in Vance. I may be troubled by Trump on various grounds, but I don't think Vance would make things better.
Jim, regarding the spot where Trump finds himself in, are any of these allegations that are in the files, or is this reminiscent, if not verbatim, what was in the Wayne Madsen report from 2015 that we shared with our audience roughly a year ago? Does this have any recollect to you?
Fascinating that you brought up Wayne, because he really was ahead of his time. He really was doing a great job. He was a brilliant investigative journalist doing the real thing. And this files, what's come out now is just horrific. I mean, they have all kinds of photographs. There are all kinds of very prominent figures. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying we can't vote our way out of it, because these despicable monsters, these sexual predators on both sides of the aisle. If I had to pick between Trump and Marjorie, I'm going with Marjorie without any hesitation whatsoever.
So is there no doubt that these are what's in the files is real? Do we know? Do we understand the validity is up to par?
Oh yeah, Dean. You see now, you're beginning to see why Trump fought so furiously against their release. They are devastating. They are far-reaching. They include a whole lot of prominent figures you had no idea would be interested in. They are sordid. They are vicious, lascivious, really repulsive stuff, Dean. And it's not just sexual abuse. It involves torture and murder of young children.
I mean, Jim, you had Bill Gates planning literally the pandemic with Jeffrey Epstein, which is unbelievable. You have Larry Fink, excuse me, the head of BlackRock, who is in almost daily correspondence with Epstein, along with the Mossad. And they literally are referring to all of us in these files as the Goyim. I thought that was just kind of a folklore, but no, that's how these people are talking and speaking about regarding all of us. I couldn't believe it, Jim. But kind of in closing, if you're Trump right now, what is your next move to save face, but really to save the country, knowing that it's all out and probably more is going to come out? What is the next move if you are Donald Trump right now, Jim Fetzer?
Dean, I tell you, I would be really hard pressed to figure what to do now. I think he's going to stand with ICE. He's going to try to continue the deportation of the illegals, but it has the potential for a fault line. I think there is an effort here to precipitate a domestic civil war, and that it has that potential. Black, white, not. Since we elected a black guy president twice, I always thought that was ridiculous. This is a different kind of fault line. It's not Republican, Democrat. It's a different kind of fissure, and I find it profoundly threatening to civil society right here in the USA today.
Well, it's certainly something. Who would ever thought, Jim, we're living in this time in the world where we have Epstein file coming out, literally naming the elites and what they've done, and we have offices being raided in France because they're afraid of the whole gluteus maximum coming out about the alleged first lady.
It's been obvious that
Unbelievable.
Brigitte had a package. It's been obvious that Brigitte had a package most women do not have for some time, Dean. And apparently they've got the most direct possible proof, which I take it to be photographic or video. So there it is.
Oh, I heard it's the profile in the shadow of something. Jim Fetzer, thank you very much. You can catch Jim 8 days a week over there at Freedom Revolution Radio. No, 8 days a week, and he'll probably be back with us later in the week as well. Thank you very much, Jim Fetzer.
My pleasure. Keep it.
There you have it. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jim. It's always so good to see you. Anyways, we have a few more late night headlines to get to, but we're going to transition here and take this little break. And when we get back, we're going to see how Mr. Dan, you might have heard, Dan Bonbingo is back. Yes, he is, Dan Bonbingo. And we're going to see if that little twerp, also, speaking of which, of Ben Shapiro, yes, we'll see if he's eating his own eyebrows and all the paint that's drizzling from it as the files come out, and just really painting him very badly. We're going to talk about that in some other happenings going on in this late night of an event here. So you're watching Late Night Update with yours truly, TheRealDeanRyan. We'll be back after this quick break. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting heated here.
And our leaders are low-life scum that screw little girls so the Jews can screw America. That's what's happening in this country. I just said it. That's what's going on in this country. And our FBI is corrupt. The Supreme Court is corrupt. The Justice Department is corrupt. The news media is corrupt. The whole country is corrupt. Because we've walked away from Almighty God and we've allowed Kabbalah practicing Jews to defile the nation. Put that video out. Go ahead and clip this video and send it out. I dare you. You won't do it because you're scared that the truth may get out to the American people. I'm had it up to here with the corruption in this country. Little children being raped for the benefit of Israel. That's all it's about, Doc. Little American children being raped for the benefit of Israel. American politicians raping little American girls to be videotaped by Israeli Mossad so that Israel can blackmail American politicians. That's the state of America today. God ought to destroy this country for what we've become.
Some people who obtained some of these files and are familiar with the person who's familiar with the files, he goes under different names. Benjamin Netanyahu, as we know, is one of them. That's his first fake name. Benjamin Natia. Then there's John J. Sullivan, you know, the Skippy kid from next door. Then there's John J. Sullivan Jr., just in case you oust him. So can you imagine John J. Sullivan, the wild and crazy guy called John J. Sullivan, was going doing nights on the town, probably with Gary Busey over there in Malibu. Upon further examination,
You like me, you want to get to heaven, but you simply don't want to take your time, let alone wait in line? That's why I here at Tunnels to Heaven, we're going to get you to your final destination before the revelation, tribulation, and the strangulation. All you got to do is start giving, because forgiveness ain't cheap, it ain't free, and you got to give to forgive. So that's why sign up today. You can find it at a variety of locations, and underneath the synagogues, we got one in Brooklyn, we got one in Alabama, and we got one over there in Seattle, Washington. Get your fix before you get your kicks, and don't fall for any of these tricks. Get your Tunnels to Heaven membership today, because God's waiting, but he ain't gonna pick you up. Hold on, what's that?
What are you saying?
Oh, it's my turn to go in that tunnel. I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you in heaven.
Order your Tunnels to Heaven today. 1-800-TUNNELS. 1-800-TUNNELS.
well, we are definitely. Does everyone see what's happening here tonight? We are definitely having some tech snafus. Is everyone seeing this? Everyone's witnessing this, right? I don't have to do anything, and things start going haywire around here. As I'm back here. I'm still TheRealDeanRyan, reporting live to you in Studio B. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me, but things go haywire every time we cover a certain country around here. Things really do, and I can't make sense of it. It is quite annoying. And if nobody hears me, and I'm going to go completely berserk for sure, but hopefully that's not the case here. Anyways, you are watching Late Night Date, as we have a few more late night headlines to go. We have people who are all over the place. We have a record amount of people watching tonight. Yes, we do, as I'm getting back into the swing of things. Jim's looking good lately. He's getting back into his old form here, isn't he? Anyways, we have a few more things to get to, but, I was really looking forward to February 2nd, as many people do, not just for the groundhog, for Groundhog Day, but you might have heard a lot of promotion and commotion about it, as Mr. Dan Bonbingo, the man who is true grit, says what he means what he says. It came back to air. I don't know if you heard it or anybody cared to hear it or watch. I watched probably about I stomached 10 minutes. And to give you my review, as unsubstantial as that is, of the 10 minutes I managed to stomach, he said he had a lot of things to share, And what he did share was all his achievements, which he started showing, like pictures of, here I am at the ballroom at my birthday with Janine Pereiro, and all that. It was completely puff piece. It was so cringe. And even cringier how just the mindset of somebody like that, who made his entire brand on the Epstein files, to then say, oh, no, there's nothing there. And then to come back, not even a year later, to come back to air. So what I did is I managed to screenshot some of the responses. And let me tell you, they're not good. And I would say 80% terrible, about 20%, maybe 10% okay, and 10% bewildered. But here's some of what I managed to capture just for all of you here. There's a lot of expletives, of course. I'll read some of these for you if I can. Well, that's kind of small there. So here's what some of them say. Welcome back, Dan, you piece of S liar. The cause that matters most to Dan is the defense of Israel, not the U.S., his own words. Here's another comment that I loved. It says, so funny, this bald-headed F says he's all about accountability. Listen here, B, you were deputy director of the FBI. What accountability is your podcast going to be now? Then someone else said, B, you lied, period. And then finally says, they called him hashtag Deep State Dan. And Dan's covering up for Israel. So that was kind of the core sentiment of it all. Just highly embarrassing. And so if you haven't seen it, it might be worth going to see just the comments. I'll share that with you. Okay, so that was that one. Now, another embarrassing cringe moment that I want to share. Well, you might have heard for quite some time that Ben Shapiro, Mr. Painted Eyebrows, Mr. Robot that he's turned into, a man who is, or I shouldn't even say that, just a young boy from Burbank who literally accepted and was probably groomed to be in the role of the American consulate Mossad agent, has said, there's nothing in these Epstein files. I have sources inside. They said there's nothing there. So all you kooks. Well, he's eaten his matzo ball now, ain't he? His little deep state one. And this is what he's saying now. So he had to come back to air today. And it's quite embarrassing. And but you can't just help but to capture these. Here it is. This is Ben Shapiro. And look how he's trying to spin it now. What happened to all his sources? Check this out.
A lot of people are looking for the connection between the Jeffrey Epstein story, the saga, the details that are now coming out, and what that means about, quote unquote, who runs our world. Now, there are a lot of very powerful people whose names have been mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. People who are hanging out, hobnobbing with Jeffrey Epstein. People who are asking dating advice, like Lauren Summers, former president of Harvard. Or people who are apparently soliciting visits to Epstein parties, or whom Epstein was soliciting to go to his parties, including people like Elon Musk. Obviously, Jeffrey Epstein was friendly with Bill Clinton. There was a time early on in his life, earlier, when he was friendly with Donald Trump. All of that is true. Now, the leap that some people are making is that this means that Epstein was manipulating all of these powerful people through blackmail with regard to sex. That is not in evidence. If that turns out to be in evidence, then we will happily report on it. That is not what so far has come out. And the reason I'm making this distinction is because it is, in fact, a deeply important thing that some of the most powerful people in our society act in morally depraved ways, godless, virtue-free ways, hanging out with some of the worst people in our society, people they know to be trafficking in women who are very, very young, if not in minors. When it comes to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, what was criminally indicted was the trafficking of underage girls for Epstein's own use. There have yet to be legally verifiable allegations that girls who are underage were trafficked to people who are not Jeffrey Epstein, or by Ghislaine Maxwell to people not Jeffrey Epstein.
You know, the irony is he literally just described his cohorts, everything of Team Israel that they have, casted upon this country right here. So I found the irony in that incredible, just incredible. Okay, so that's how that one goes. As we kind of wind down here, I must say the fog came back last night over here, and where I am, and I'm struggling. I'm getting that sore throat. That I've had that dry cough all day today, and I never get coughs, but it's a really physical pain in the throat. It's the weirdest weather past couple of weeks, I want to say, but mainly this week. We have some people here who are chiming in. Let's see what's saying here. We have a starred. Okay, we have this one right here. Thank you, Mr. Jordan Paul. Yes, I guess we have a super chat on YouTube. I'm not sure how it works. I'm from a different era. Thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. Yeah, I was not allowed to do any of this on YouTube my entire existence here since I've been doing this. So I'm learning, and And well, to be honest, I'm without a computer, so I'm using very primitive tools right now to be with all of you until that changes. So, but it's an important time to be here with all of you. Let me go to Rumble here. And here's the, I guess the inquiry is, where do we see this going? Is Trump going to bend the knee to Netanyahu and the Israelis and get us into a Iranian war? Or is, now that the cat's out of the bag, is he going to turn on them, cut the ties, and spare us from a World War III endeavor here? So I guess that's the question to think about. We have Mr. Joseph Brent Gregory. Thank you for chiming in here. Who said the fog is bad right here in Bakersfield, California every night. Joseph, I'm telling you, and I know so many people in this neck of the woods that are very ill right now. A lot of people are very sick. And I just got over, I had a flu earlier in the beginning of the year, but it wasn't congestion or anything like that. And I thought it was better. Now I'm getting really sick again. I can feel it. Okay. We have Miss Jordan to the right of that. Yes. If I missed your comment, Jordan, on the other one, I do apologize. Please share it again. This is new to me. I can't believe, different era. Okay, so here we have David Nader over there on Rumble saying, brutal Bon Bingo return. He made a point to dump on his loyal fans or ex-fans. Yes, he did, Dave. He's really too hot to trot right now. And this is what really angers me, too. He had Donald Trump on his first episode back. And what angers me about that is Trump and the administration made a real effort and, to say, oh, well, this go round, we're really going to give a lot of credence to the alternative media, the independent media. That's hardly happened. That was supposed to have happened in Trump 1.0. That has yet to really, truly happen. But to go on that show and the puff pieces, he was like saying how great Kash Patel is. He was fake crying about Charlie Kirk. Just unbelievable. I think he was even praising, I think he praised, what's his name? Mark Levine and Ben Shapiro at one point. I mean, I just couldn't even sit through that crap. We have Rebel Mama over there on Rumble saying that the snow is making people sick everywhere. I bet over there in Canada. Save Israel for last. That's the one credence of everything, people could say about the QAnon experience. We are at that critical point where the save the Israel for last. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I really, it does feel like we're on the last chapter of this pandemic war. This is like the Return of the Jedi, I hope, moment before, we have to fight a whole new series of wars with robots and AI. And, we kind of know what that's going to be like with Terminator, don't we? Okay, here is another one. And do people think that this is that the Epstein files are anyways, do people believe in the validity of it, of the Epstein files? Because here on one hand, you have little Marco Rubio was the guy who created the Russian dossier when we thought it was John McCain the whole time. It was, it was the Dumbo of Florida that did it. I'm telling you, I always hated that guy. Now I know why. I can't believe he's here. Here we have Mr. Jordan saying, indeed, I feel like the world is upside down. Jetliner in flight. Yeah, it is. But maybe it's always been upside down, and now we're just becoming right side up, to be a contrarian there. Thank you very much. Furthermore, here on Rumble, the snow will not burn. We witnessed the winter vortex of 2020, and I believe 1-2 years later over there in Texas, the countless videos of the snow not burning. Snow not burning. Do we see the ICE protest becoming the riots? Because here's what I see. I think there's a lot of people, millennial aged, not so much the Gen Z, but a lot of the millennial aged class that were protesting 5 years ago in the George Floyd protests, the defund the police protests, that saw the unmasking of what that really was and saw all the trappings of that and how they were being used as pawns. I kind of see a lot of those people not going to the protests we see today because I think they learned a big lesson. And in fact, I know that for a fact. One of them was a friend of mine because I see these people are going to be used as pawns. And what I also see is the Israeli Mossad unleashing all holy hell of just lone gunmen and who are going to make it, they're going to make them masquerade as Iranians, or I want to say, the ones the three named, Christian, white, anti-Israel person. So I think those are the two wild cards I think that we could see in the run up to the war with Iran. Very dangerous stuff. A dangerous time to be alive. Okay, here is another one. Here we have Jules, MD, longtime viewer. Good to see you, Jules. I learned the other day that almost 30% of Gen Z was already aborted. So sad. Yeah, this is the replacement theory. So, 2020, March 2020, I coined the bipolar world order, the bipolar world order kind of confines that is coming into play here, meaning China in a proxy war with Israel. China wants to replace the West, have us kill ourselves, replace us with the obedient Far East residents. We see that happen in California everywhere. You have the Chinese coming in here buying homes with cash. A lot of the money laundering is washed and scrubbed through, believe it or not, donut shops. I know that sounds crazy. So you have that factor. And then you have Israel, who got in a huge war with China when the Red Rail system pretty much fell to pieces and crumbled, and which then paved the way for the Belt and Road initiatives that China's doing now. However, so Israel wants world domination, but they don't want to kill the West, the Americans, because quite frankly, they just want to bring us to heel because they still need us to fight their wars, you see. So those are the two dominating world factors here. And don't forget that when they were talking about the asteroids falling, the big one that's going to kill everyone, remember what they said, that two countries out of all the countries in the world would survive the asteroid. It would be China and Israel. What are the odds? So those are the two. Now, what China wants is mutual destruction of Israel and Iran, oddly enough, because then that gets rid of the two for one, really. That gets rid of the Judaism and Islam as a dominant force, and Christianity too. When both countries are mutually destroyed and there's no red heifer, nobody's coming back in that sense, people lose their faith. And then the new religion becomes the AI, which China has the mantle for, to control the world's AI. That's why no superpowers are getting in the way of Israel in their ethnic cleansing of Gaza right now and all the other wars they're starting, because they want to pave the way for the true king of the ring here, which is China right now. So therefore, that's why you've seen a real acceleration of Trump, getting everything AI ready, all the data centers, all the new power outages we're having. It's really something. It's something else. It's unbelievable. Okay. We have Mary Walsh Masalam. Thank you. The bombing of satanic sites is on my bingo card. Well, we haven't done bingo in quite some time. Isn't that something? Okay. Good point. And let me check one more time right here in Rumble, then we're going to conclude here. Here we have we have a few good ones here. We have Marty saying that there are more files to come. Yes, we've only just begun. That are going to be naming United States politicians. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be huge. And we also have the Clintons that are going to be giving testimony probably within the next week. We're going to see which Hillary shows up. Is it going to be the Meg Ryan Hillary? Is it going to be the Glenn Close Hillary? I mean, we'll see that. And I don't even know who's playing Bill Clinton or if he's even still with us at this point. We also said the real protesters are afraid of the paid thugs. That's right. They're afraid of the paid thugs. You might have noticed it's now being said that the man who was just recently shot, Mr. Pretty, has also been said to be the IDF soldier in an event not too long ago. We have that picture somewhere. I'll show you if I can. Yeah, so a lot of people are afraid of the thugs, and that's exactly what ICE wants. They want the provocateurs for the martial law, because eventually they're going to be coming after the dissidents. And yeah, the Clintons may plead the fifth. I think they're now negotiating how they're going to come and what questions are going to be asked. And finally, here we have David Nader. Apparently, he says, University of Waterloo is also named in the files. There's a lot of people that are unsuspectingly named in the files. We have Palantir now named in the files with Peter Thiel. It looks like Epstein had a hand in the development of that, which is all coming out of Israel, just like the Department of Homeland Security. We also have now, and I'm desperately looking for this one, we have Jeffrey Epstein, who is residing, it appears, in the Vatican with Pope John Paul II, it appears, at some point. So we have a lot of implications, a lot of dirty stuff that's about to come out. I mean, Pizzagate is being rerouted out of its coffin to come out in this time. Just some crazy stuff. So, okay, we're going to end it there. Let me make some quick announcements too. In the event I don't make a show tomorrow night, I'm really I'm hurting here tonight. But what we have planned for you in very due time, we're plotting it right now. Two things. We introduced you to the Phoenix Enigma, Corey Daniel, who is the occultist, but a really great investigator outside of that. I want to give all of you the quintessential Isaac Cappy from beginning to end cold case feature here. I want to showcase the entire story. I want to show you the last interview he did, which was with me, that have never aired before. I'm going to fix the audio to it because YouTube has scrambled it. And we want to get and show you footage that is very kind of dangerous, but things that you didn't know about or have yet to see ever before in the Isaac Happy case. Corey and myself are going to be doing that for you. Hopefully, probably next week, I want to say at some point, and hopefully my tech is back. But the other very big one that Mr. Neil Bishop, myself are planning, we're planning to bring, and it's all relevant to Kathy O'Brien here to the stage to talk about her experience. And a lot of the things we're seeing in the Epstein files has a lot to do with the sex kittens, the MK Ultra, and how that all came about. So we are planning that to bring it here to this effective audience from all over the world. And hopefully that will be in due time. We are friendly people, so she'll feel comfortable. So those are some big little mentions to you and for you. So there you have that one. Okay, on that note, I'm going to go have some hot tea and try to avoid the fog vid, as you might have heard. I'm going to get out of here. So for Jim Fetzer and the rest of us here at Late Night Update, I'm Dean Ryan saying thank you for sharing a bit of your late night with all of us. Till next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. Good night, everybody. Good night.